where do I want to go? Oh, right, Cuba.
Yes.
Do you have any update on the review of what to do about the embassy or your staffing levels there, and anything more on the investigation into the incidents?
Sure. As many of you know, we met earlier this week with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and his delegation here at the State Department. That was a meeting that was held at their request. We were more than happy to have that meeting and to be able to ask questions and have a dialogue with the Cuban delegation. I would describe the conversation between Secretary Tillerson and his counterparts as firm and frank. The Secretary continued to express his profound concern for Americans who are employed by the U.S. Embassy in Havana. Many of you have had questions in recent days about the timing of any potential announcements in terms of whether or not we change staffing levels or whatever. I just want to let you know that the Secretary is reviewing all of his options. We are reviewing how to best protect our American personnel. In terms of the investigation, the FBI has the lead on that investigation. We have a lot of conversations and dialogue with the FBI and other agencies that are a part of this investigation, and that has not been concluded just yet. One other note, I just want to let you know that the Secretary has been monitoring this very closely. We have had a lot of meetings here at the State Department with various bureaus and people weighing in of the safety and security of our folks who are serving the United States down there is our top concern.
So, related to
Yes.
that, it seems to have crept into some kind of conventional wisdom that you are now have determined that 25 Americans were, instead of the 21, which you have repeatedly confirmed and denied the 25, and yet the 25 continues to appear in a variety of reports.
It does.
Is there a reason for that? Is it still wrong?
Here's what I can tell you. We have had, and I want to be clear about this as well, 21 medically confirmed cases. We have always been clear about saying that number could certainly change. We have people who are undergoing medical evaluations. People's symptoms have changed, and some of them are different from one another. So they continue to undergo medical evaluations. I certainly hope that no one else is diagnosed, for lack of a better word, by the medical community. We certainly hope that that won't be the case, but if that changes, I've always been very forthcoming in bringing you the numbers as we get them, as we can confirm them.
Last one,
Yeah.
to put a fine, hold on, this is on that point.
Okay.
So, right now,
Yes.
all you can confirm is 21.
Correct.
25 figure that's out there is
I have
just
no
wrong.
idea. I have no idea where the number 25
wrong,
came
right?
from. All of the briefings I have sat in with our top people have all indicated 21 is the number. However, that number could certainly change as we continue to evaluate our U.S. staff who serve down there.
21 diagnosed cases,
21 medically confirmed.
confirmed incidents related to this sonic.
That they've experienced. I'm not characterizing it that way. That's your word. That's not mine. 21 medically confirmed to have experienced health effects.
Directly related to the same specific.
We don't know what it was. We don't know who's done it. We've been
No,
very
but
clear
I'm
about
not
that from the beginning.
I'm saying, like, there could be more than 21 people who have reported kind of health symptoms that you believe are unrelated.
Elise,
But when you say 21, do you mean they're all related to the same?
There are a lot of questions that we still have. That's why we have such a vigorous investigation that is underway. We have the best medical professionals here on the mainland helping our people and helping with the evaluations. Those evaluations are ongoing, last I had heard, which was just a few hours ago. 21 people have been medically confirmed to have experienced health effects. Okay?
Why 2 months since it's been, this has been reported for the past 2 months and so on? Why does it remain such a mystery? And since this was your first meeting with the foreign minister of Cuba, did they in any way explain what's going on, or did they come clean? How did they respond?
I wish
to
I
all
could
these
get. I
issues?
wish I could get into some of that conversation with you. Unfortunately, I cannot. We had the conversation with them. We made it very clear. Cuba has a responsibility, as does every country that hosts U.S. and other officials where we have posts. They have a responsibility to ensure that our embassy personnel are kept safe. That's under the Vienna Convention. That obviously was not done. Our people were certainly put in a very precarious situation. And let me again just say, the safety and security of our folks is our top concern. Anything else on Cuba?
So it sounds,
Go ahead.
it sounds
Hi,
like
Michelle.
in the investigation and in terms of you leaning even one way or another as to what this was? Was it an attack or not? You know, who did it? It doesn't sound like it's moved in any way. Or
I can't say that. I cannot speak to the investigation. I cannot speak to the details of the investigation. I'm not one of the investigators. That is handled by a separate agency, separate group of folks, so I'm not able to answer your questions about that. And even if I did have the answers to that, I probably wouldn't be able to bring it to you because we don't know who is responsible, we don't know what is responsible. We want to bring in all the facts and have those facts sussed out before I can bring it to anybody.
But
Okay.
there's, I mean, you must have concerns that this could have, because you don't know what this was even, or who did this, this could potentially happen to any diplomat anywhere.
We have never seen this anyplace in the world before. As far as we know, this is just something that's limited to Cuba.
Heather, can you confirm, you said personnel were put in danger past tense. Are you sure that the incidents have stopped?
The last incident that has been reported was in August.
And
Okay.
I know none since then, but are you confident that there will be no more future incidents?
Goodness, I would certainly hope not. I would certainly hope not.
You can't rule that out.
We are working hard to try to get to the bottom of this. We've tried to extend every possible assistance available to our people who are amazingly serving in Cuba, despite the situation. And frankly, a lot of our folks really want to be down there. They are happy and proud of the work that they're doing. And despite these concerns, our folks are still doing their jobs every day.
I'm just wondering if you know, people still want to work down there and serve down there, and you're not aware of any future, you know, well, obviously not aware of any future incidents, no idea what's really happening. But what is drawing down the diplomatic presence achieve?
I don't have anything to announce for you on that, okay? If that changes, I will let you know.
Based on this last high-level conversation, you're still calling this an incident, right? It's
Yeah.
not appropriate to call it an attack, or is it?
Look, I prefer to call it an incident because we still do not know what the cause was and we don't know who's responsible for it.
Can you tell us anything about the investigation, like how many FBI agents
Did
may
you
be
just walk
down
in
there?
here? Michelle just asked me that same question
Oh.
about the investigation.
Sorry.
Hi, Carol.
I misheard.
No, the answer is no. I can't tell you anything about the investigation, okay? If I can, I'll certainly bring it to you, okay? Go ahead. Hi, Josh.
What Elise was asking about. Can you offer any insight into what criteria the State Department is using to determine if a diplomat in Havana comes forward and says, you know, I have a headache, whether that is a medically confirmed incident versus just a headache or an unrelated physical ailment?
We have, when I say we have top medical staff, people, not staff working for us, but people elsewhere who are involved in this at different medical facilities in the United States. In addition, we have a medical representative there on the ground in Cuba who's there 24/7. We also have a bureau here, that's our medical bureau. So they're all involved in tracking this in terms of the kinds of tests that people are going. I just can't speak. I can't speak to that part.
You know, given that you don't know what is causing this, how could it be that you could medically confirm that these cases are or are not related?
I think
to it?
that's a question for the medical staff, and a lot of that would just be confidential. I'm sorry, I don't have anything for you on that. Okay?
With the foreign minister?
Yes.
The Cuban government called this meeting. It was scheduled, I believe, for a half hour. It went much longer than that. Why did they say they scheduled the meeting? Did they come with information? Did they come trying to avoid any type of U.S. reprisals, to insist that they weren't doing anything?
I don't want to ascribe any motivations to that, their request for the meeting. We have had conversations with them on the ground in Cuba, and I know they were heading back to Cuba from New York from having been at the United Nations, and so they stopped down here to have a conversation with us.
And they're investigating this in conjunction with the
Well,
FBI?
look, any country would have to basically sign off on U.S. investigators being on the ground. So when I've talked about their cooperation, they, gave us and our investigators the permission to head to that country to conduct investigations. Okay, let's.
So did the meeting yesterday further that cooperation, or did it kind of make it harder to continue?
I'm not going to characterize that. I'm just going to say the meeting was frank and firm, and we had it was good to have a chat. Okay? Yes, yeah. Let's move on from Cuba. I don't have anything more for you on Cuba. As I have more information for you on Cuba, I will bring it
Can
to
we
you,
just get your
okay?
reaction to one? There was one report that said the U.S. had ruled out that Cuba was responsible. Can you confirm or deny that?
When I say that the investigation is ongoing,
So you haven't
the
ruled anyone out?
investigation is ongoing.
Okay.
Let me
Thank
leave it
you.
at that. Okay? Let's move on. Okay.